Very heated costume. Why do you rush about so much?
Because it's the busiest time of the year, that's why.
Not for you, surely. Can't you take even one day off?
No, I can't, and I'll tell you why. Because if I did, every peasant on the estate would do likewise.
Come now, aren't you being a little unfair to the peasants? You who profess to like them so much.
I don't profess any such thing. I like most people, I suppose. I dislike some.
I'm talking of the peasantry as a whole, as a class. You like them, and you know my sympathies are entirely on their side.
Yes, I do, and that's your trouble. You regard them as a group, entirely distinct, separate from yourself.
But they are.
No, you don't get my point. Every peasant's an individual, different from any other. As different as... Well, as my old friend Oblonsky is from that professor from Kharkov. What was his name?
Professor Wolf?
Yes, now, you don't generalize about those people. The people you know. So why'd you lump the peasants together as if they were a swarm of bees or a herd of cattle? Got to think of it, if you knew cattle as I do, you'd realize they're all individuals too.
Well, that's all very well, but social philosophy has to take the broad view. If we are to improve the social conditions of a certain class, then surely we must consider them as a class.
I don't know anything about philosophy.
No, Kostya, that you don't. But you live among these people and you know them.
I don't. I know Mikhail and Fomich and Ivan and Fosky and the widow Kazimov because they come and tell me their troubles and I try and help them. But I wouldn't presume to prescribe with the millions of Ivans and Sashas all over Russia I'd never met.
Now you're overheated, and it's my fault.
No, it's just...
Well, talking of Sashas, I met your old nurse in the village and we talked about your working in the fields. No. Apparently, the peasants don't approve of it.
No, rubbish.
They think it isn't work for the gentry.
Oh, but if I enjoy it as I do, where's the harm?
I tell you, every man should work to the limit of his capacity.
I've done that today.
All you've done is waste your time, your energy, and your educated intelligence.
Oh, the old theme, eh? Public activities, the Zemstva, committees. Now, there's a waste of time if you like. It doesn't work.
But of course not if decent people refuse to help.
I don't consider it important.
Not important. But we're spending money and nothing gets done. No local clinics, no midwives or district nurses. Ignorant women starving their children. And peasants steeped in ignorance at the mercy of every village clerk. And what about schools?
Schools? What for?
Well, surely you must admit that a peasant who can read and write is a better man and a better labourer.
Simply isn't true.
You don't believe in education?
Yes, of course I do.
Very well, then, as an honest man, you ought to work for it.
No! I don't believe in interference. I don't want to plan anybody's life except my own, and that's hard enough, God knows. Even if I had the ability, which I've not, what right have I got to tell other people what to do?
Duty, Kostya, to help others less fortunate.
I don't see that. The peasant acts out of self-interest, and so do I. I respect his self-interest, and he respects mine, but the Zemstva...
Now, wait a minute. There was no self-interest behind our work to emancipate the serfs.
Certainly there was. Theirs and ours to be free, mutually free of that disgusting yoke. Now they're striking for freedom. But committees for this and that, all they do is pile on new chains, a change of bureaucracy.
That's hardly fair.
Oh, from the best of motives, I
Very well, surely the end justifies the means.
No. What I say is this, and the peasant would say the same. Those rights which affect me, my personal interests, those I will defend to the best of my ability. When we were students and the police came and searched us and read our letters, then I would have defended to the death my right to education and to liberty. I can understand compulsory military service when it affects me or my family or my children. I'll debate anything which affects me. But to be a town councillor and sit on a jury and try a half-witted peasant who stole a flitch of bacon...
I suppose you were arrested tomorrow. Would you prefer to be tried at the old criminal tribunal?
I'm not going to be arrested tomorrow. I'm not going to cut anybody's throats. I'm not going to be tried. It's the whole point.
Innocent men are sometimes arrested and tried. Now, if you were on the jury, you might have the wit to recognize innocence.
Oh, you... Logic.
In all things. Ah, this problem. I've been working at it for an hour and suddenly the answer emerges. Now, not pawn to queen 6. Now, emotionally, that's what I wanted it to be, but I was wrong. Now, queen to king's bishop 8. Queen takes queen. Black mated in 3. Logic.
All right. But chess isn't life, Sergei. And without emotion, life can't exist. I'm filthy all over. I'll go and wash and we'll have some supper. But you know, today, out there in the fields, with all the people and the children, I wanted to change my whole way of life. Simplicity and sanity. That's what they've got. That's what I need. How? Leave this place? Join a peasant community and marry a strong young peasant girl and raise a family?
I hope you're not serious.
Who knows, maybe. That's from Steve. We know, Oblonsky.
Oh, yes.
He says, I've had a letter from Dolly at Yergoshovo, and everything seems to be wrong there. I can't get away myself, so do please ride over and give her your advice. She'll be so pleased to see you. Kitty and her parents are still abroad, so she's quite alone. Poor thing.
Yes, that sounds typical of Oblonsky, leaving the trouble to his friends.
I don't mind in the slightest. Dolly's a nice person. Well, let's ride over together. It's only 20 miles and a capital road.
Have you forgotten I'm going home tomorrow?
Would you have to?
I'm afraid so.
I'm sorry. It's been good having you here. Still, it can't be helped. I'll ride over myself when I've cut the wheat. Help yourself to a drink.